So let's take a look at Psalm 78, verses 1 to 7. My people, hear my teaching. Listen to the words of my mouth. I will open my mouth with a parable. I will utter hidden things, things from of old, things we have heard and known, things our ancestors have told us. We will not hide them from their descendants. We will tell the next generation the praiseworthy deeds of the Lord, his power and the wonders he has done. He decreed statutes for Jacob and established the law in Israel, which he commanded our ancestors to teach their children. So the next generation would know them, even the children yet to be born, and they in turn would tell their children. Then they would put their trust in God and would not forget his deeds, but would keep his commandments. And as believers, it is also our duty to make the next generations know who God is. Now, this morning, I have come across with a model that would help us understand what parenting is all about. So the model that I will be sharing is called the shepherding model of parenting. So in the Old Testament, from the book of Genesis at the beginning, there is already a motif of shepherding. And we can read this motif in Genesis chapter 48, verse 15. If you take a look at the last book of the Bible, in Revelation chapter 7 to 17, for the Lamb in the center of the throne shall be their shepherd and shall guide them to springs of water of life. Okay? And the Bible also points out to the characteristics of the good and bad shepherd. In the Old Testament, it's very familiar. Psalm 23 is very clear. The Lord is my shepherd. And in the New Testament, in the book of John chapter 10, God, Christ, is the good shepherd. Number one, let's try to define parenting according to this model. We parents are caretakers of our kids. But if we dig deeper, parenting is not just providing care, but we need to understand our role as God's agent. We learn to understand how to deal with our kids. In Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 6 to 7, these commandments that I give you today are to be on your hearts. Impress them on your children. Talk about them when you sit at home and when you walk along the road, when you lie down and when you get up. Tie them as symbols on your hands and bind them on your foreheads and write them on the door frames of your houses and on your gates. We are to direct them for them also to know the ways of the Lord. So in shepherding, number one, we have to embrace that God-given authority. God has entrusted to us these children as agents of God. We need to be operating under the guidance of the Lord. If God has given us the authority, we should not be independent. But we have to take a look at the Lord. Lord, my child does this. What am I going to do? The second item that I'd like us to point out this morning is we have to create a concrete training objectives. So we start our daily engagement with the goals that we want to accomplish. Yes, as parents, we have dreams for our kids. But we have to create a concrete plan, a concrete training objectives. Just like a shepherd knows where to bring his flock for a greener pasture. A shepherd plans where to lead the sheep for them to cross to the other side of the river. These are the things that some of us are having this kind of goal. Number one, developing a special skill. We want our kids to enjoy family worship. We want our kids to have good education. What is the chief end of man? Man's chief end is to glorify God and to enjoy Him forever. And this is the goal that we have to achieve. If we want them to glorify the Lord, number one, teach them the ways of God. Number two, bring them to church. Number three, teach them how to read the Bible. Number four, teach them how to pray. And number five, teach them how to serve the Lord. The third thing, we have to cultivate humility in our task. We need to be slow to anger. It is always an understanding that anger is a prerequisite to discipline. The shepherd has a tool. The rod is used to shoo away other animals that would harm the sheep. He also has the staff, but that staff is not used by the shepherd to beat the sheep. The staff is used to direct, to encourage that, hey, my sheep, not there, go this way, you can do better than that. If we forgot our role as God's agent, we can always ask forgiveness to our kids. Number 4, remember that discipline is corrective and not punitive. Our discipline must be comforting. Discipline is not a revenge. The next part that I'd like to share is the 5 languages of children. This love language that they feel must be identified, because with this, we are able to fill their emotional tanks. And so how to discover, let me end with this, our child's love language. Observe how they express their love to you. Another thing is observe how they express their love to other people. If we tell them that we love them through these 5 love languages, we are able to communicate with them clearly that we truly love them.